Noob D&D Dad here, in which the army veterans encounter the dragon, the young white dragon cryovain. In the Dragon of Icespire Peak, early, this is session 18 and 19 for the army veterans group I'm DMing for. So the players arrive back in Phandalin, and I had previously rolled the d20 to find out where the dragon should be, as per the book, right? They have you roll to see where the dragon will be. So it lands in frickin' Phandalin. My players arrive. I think it's the rogue. He puts a coin into the shrine, and I have it make like a coin impacting noise at the bottom, and then you smell a slight hint of cinnamon. So it released some kind of a incense or a little powder or something for your donation, maybe to make you feel like something religious is happening. I was proud of adding that little detail. So the dragon shows up in town flying around, and people are running and screaming, and the players have a whole bunch of animals, and they still have the sleeping broad wearing out of time period clothing that they've been carrying around because she's asleep still, because they can't wake her up. So they shove all the animals and the broad in a barn, and I think they had a player that was absent that week, so they had the player guarding them. Also, this was a player's first, I think, and only session that he showed up to, because it's a veterans group, and so we do have it open to other veterans, so sometimes we'll have traveling players, not too often, but there was one traveling player this time along with our regulars. So the dragon rolls a dreadfully low initiative roll. It's like a 9 compared to what they all got. So they're all winging arrows or whatever they're trying to do with their range attacks to hit this thing. The dragon lines up a perfect line of them and does its icy breath, and it does 43 damage. 3 of them pass, 3 of them fail. So the ones who failed the roll from the dragon breath, there you go, DC 15 Constitution save. The failures take 43 damage, and everyone else takes 21. So I'm thinking this is just going to be a quick hit and run with the dragon. The dragon's going to take off and go about its business. The players are going to realize that this is a serious enemy, and they're going to go about their business, trying to get stronger to go fight the dragon. They're actually level 6 right now. And again, they're in Phandalin, but if you look at Icespire Hold, it says that they should be at about 6th level. That's where the dragon lives, except for when it's flying around being an idiot. So these guys are actually powerful enough to kill the thing as far as level goes, but they're also powerful enough to kill the thing because they all disobeyed my guidelines to create the characters that are in the simple rules of this thing. So they're all more powerful. We've got half orc, paladin, warlock. We've got gnome rogue, goblin sorcerer, half elf or something, bard, can't remember what he was, and the stupid ogre I let them adopt, named Mort. So they have a wide range of attacks, many abilities, and this happens to be a super creative group of guys with the solutions they come up with, just with using absolutely everything at their disposal to come up with the most creative and brutal solutions. So I think at this point they've hit it a few times, and the book says if the dragon's taken a little bit of damage, just have it fly off, right? It only fights to the death at home. But they are determined to kill this thing or to fight this thing. And, so they've been doing little range damage to it, and I decided to trade in its multi-attack for speed. I'm just trying to beeline it out of there. So at this point, people are doing math at the angle, how far it is in the air, the angle that they're at. Like we're doing distances. Like people are seriously busting out the Pythagorean theorem to see if their stuff can range this thing. Like they are really trying to be creative and use all their abilities to hit this thing. Okay, so they come up with the craziest plan, and the whole time I'm like, okay, do I allow this? Like, do I have to ref this and end it, or do I just go with the rule of awesome, right? And I think where I land is that you can do the rule of awesome if you can pass some rolls. So I arbitrarily assign difficulty class to certain things they try to do. So the bard uses my least favorite, actually I think my least favorite spell might be mend, but he uses hypnotic pattern, and the dragon gets hypnotized. The sorcerer then teleports the bard onto the dragon's back, which I think according to hypnotic pattern actually wakes it up. So then it's really hard to stay on the back because it's moving and stuff. And so I can't remember what the DC was, but I created some really hard to hit DC of if he can hang on there. And of course he nails the roll. So according to me, he is hanging onto this dragon. So again, he climbs up the neck of the dragon, and again, I have some incredible DC that he knocks out of the park, and so he's not falling off. I told this part to my wife, and she was so disappointed. She's like, you shouldn't let him do that. The dragon should barrel roll and dump him off. And I'm like, sorry, they rolled really good, so he stayed on there. So their plan is to teleport him onto the dragon. He climbs up the neck with the immovable rod, and he shoves it in his mouth and pushes the button. So the rogue wanted the dragon to be going so incredibly fast that the rod just shoots out its backside and it just rips it apart and kills it. But he wasn't going that fast, so it just kind of screeches him to a halt. But that does toss the bard off the dragon at an angle down into the town. Now, I did have a group of Relief Society ladies down there in the town capture him in a quilt that they had made, or catch him in a quilt that they had made. So a little bit fortuitous there for the bard. He didn't fall to his doom. Maybe in retrospect, I should have had him just full on eat it, but I think I didn't know the falling rules and I didn't want to slow it down. So I'm like, okay, they're going to catch you. You're going to take 2d6 falling damage. So that's where we end session 18. So session 19, we jump in. This dragon's struggling, and I've had a whole week, or if it was a week between those two sessions, but I've had a whole week to just think about how I've messed things up and how am I going to get the dragon out of here? Can I wiggle it off of this thing and then fly away? Like, how are we going to have the big bad guy of this campaign to persist? We're not. They just started laying into him. Let's see what they did. They shoot him with a mind sliver, a javelin, a crossbow, necrotic damage, a crossbow, and then he dies from a scorching ray. I mean, I raised this thing up to 180 hit points because I'm like, it's the big bad, right? So he has 133, but I'm like, you know what? He needs to have 180, right? If they made characters that are out of line of this game, I'm like, I'm going to juice it up a little bit so that they don't just cut through the whole campaign like butter. Even so, at 180, they just killed it. And the reason I didn't go too much higher than 180 is because then you start getting into the hit point level of an adult dragon, and this is a young dragon. So eventually it has to be within the realm of realism. So anyway, I bumped it to 180, and they just slaughtered this thing. So I was pretty excited that it got to do a cold breath and like injure them all pretty good, but I really wanted to use up all of its actions and multi-attacks to just increase the speed to get out of there. But according to the way combat goes, where each person gets a turn, and I just couldn't get enough movement to get away from these guys with the stuff that they had as far as range goes. And they were being, like I said, they were being super creative and determined. And so we went with the rule of awesome. And so the thing crashed down, and they just started looting the thing, taking its dragon scales, taking its teeth, taking organs, taking like juices out of it in vials. I mean, they were going to town on this thing. And I have them roll on the treasure hoard, which is my absolute favorite way to do treasure in the Dungeon Master Guide. And honestly, I don't know what magic items they found, but it was awesome. And the whole time I'm like, how does the dragon have all this treasure on it? And it's like, I don't know, shut up. So there's like coins, gems, magic items, and something that they've been hoarding since the very beginning of the game when they fought the Mimic. And they dug through the Mimic's body after they killed it and found a rusty old dagger hilt. I decided that dagger hilt would be the Biff's dagger of dragon slaying. So the dragon tooth and this thing actually like merge together magically, and it becomes Biff's dagger of dragon slaying, which I gave it the stats of, where's it at? +3 vicious dagger with +6 damage to dragons and worms. So you have this amazing dragon slaying dagger now that the dragon's dead. But all along, I mean, it took me a while to come to this, but I'm going to come up with some more dragons to still be in this campaign to match their difficulty. So what I'm saying is this thing has a chance to fight dragons yet. You know how the the treasure hoard tables sometimes have like art items or clothing items or silk stuff. So they got a silver, like a robe with embroidered on it Biff. They got a mug, like some kind of a silver mug with filigree on it, with Biff written on it. And they also got a silk handkerchief with Biff written on it. So kind of just creating this like mythology around this Biff character who had all this cool stuff that ended up in or on a dragon. And then I can't remember if I already told you, but they do at some point go to like Biff's magic store, and I make big boo-boos there selling them things at massively inappropriate prices because I just spaced how you're supposed to do it, even though I had Xanathar's guide sitting right there next to me. So if it feels anticlimactic, it's because maybe it is a little bit. But they slaughtered the dragon, and I raised the hit points. I was trying to get out of there, and ultimately they overcame the dragon, and they did a super good job, and I think it was awesome and fun, and I think they thought it was cool how fun it was. But at the same time, we're only, we're not too far into the thing, and there's still multiple places on the map to go to. So I made it sound like there's still stuff to do, there's still missions, so they kept going after this. But for the rest of this session, they sold a lot of stuff. And that's how much I had them pay for it. Sorry, this handwriting is really not meant to be read again by anyone but me. You can see they gathered up 43 javelins. And I really wanted to start discouraging just gathering every single thing off the battlefield, using mend to make it nice, and then selling it. Like, it was getting a little bit tedious. And so I'm like, yeah, I'll give you 1 gold each for 43 of them, right? So just kind of to maybe switch something in their heads to just sell things of value instead of just picking up every old weapon, but then using magic to make it nice again. Yeah, so they got, of course, 300 for their quest they were on. They got 500 for killing the dragon. I think Townmaster just offered that to them as a reward. They finally got their melted golden bell from the shrine back from Halia, and it's the gold coins. They got 24.50 back because she charged 50. It's her stamp on these coins, and she offers to pay them money to tell them how people react when they spend these coins with her name on it, because I'm like, she's building a name for herself. So I built this whole subplot with hook and stuff for them to pay attention to, and I think they're just like, it's gold, I don't care. I was proud of that little subplot I invented. And they also sold a bunch of gold and nuggets and chalice, so all the like art items. But then with the statues and mirrors, which are also art items in the treasure hoard, I decided she just wouldn't buy them, so they just had to hang on to them. So at this point, the players are wanting to turn the shrine of, I forgot what it's called, because I keep calling it the Shrine of Edeniba, which is what they named it, because that's the name of their sorcerer. Oh, Shrine of Savras. So they are eager to get the Shrine of Savras repaired. And I kind of did a poll, not a poll, but a post on the channel asking what you should charge to repair walls and towers, and I got tons of awesome feedback. So ultimately, I had them pay 6 guys that they found in a bar that were like working guys, right? I had them pay 2,300 gold to restore the shrine, and like the walls and the towers, so that it's livable again, and that would cover their food and their lodging while they did it. And the adventurers are just sending them there. And I have one of the workers be like, so is it safe? You're just sending us there? Like, here's the keys, go fix our place? And they're like, yeah, go fix it. So naturally, I just have the people ask about their safety, right? They just got the 2,300 gold. They paid them in advance. And the rogue got super annoyed that they were asking about security. He's like, just use that money if you want to hire mercenaries, you can protect yourself there. And he was like really adamant that he didn't even like that they were asking that. He's just like, you have money, like you deal with the security. And they're like, we just want to know if it's going to be safe. Also, it's supposed to be a little bit of foreboding as well, that it could be dangerous. There could be other raiders or whatever, and these little workers could get slaughtered. So I wanted the players to at least think about that. But the rogue did not like that they were asking about that after they'd already been paid, because they should be able to pay their own security. So yeah, they level up to level 7 for killing the dragon, because when you kill the dragon in this campaign, you get a level. And like I said, it's on me now to continue the campaign. There's lots of places to go. And what I ultimately decided to do, and I didn't decide it at this time, but because I'm quite a bit ahead. If you saw my other post, they've actually finished the campaign. But what I decided to do is have there be 2 adult dragons, 2 adult white dragons at the Icespire hold, and they're the dragon's parents, right? So the young dragon's the one who's been flying around harassing everybody, and then the parents, I can't remember if I think I have them show up after he dies, like trying to visit him. Anyway, so they're at the hold, and that is who they will eventually meet up with once they go to that location, which ended up being the last location they went to, because they did every single quest, every single side quest, and a whole bunch of extra stuff that I added in the book. So Big Bad died at session 18. Some of these sessions are pretty short because we have to go to work. That's why it was session 18 and 19, just to get through this battle. And yeah, we decided to keep going. I'm not going to turn off the campaign. So the rest of the campaign, I think, is still worthwhile and still building up and still has cool plot stuff. And I still had lots of fun with it. So this thing, so I'm on the other end of this now. Like, they've completed this. And so I'll still keep doing videos to get caught up on it. But this is awesome. Dragon of Icespire Peak. I was so blown away with this. More on that, like, when we get to the end of it. But this is really cool. And there's lots of room to add in. And it's very easy to use. So I've started preparing their next campaign of Curse of Strahd and Vecna Eve of Ruin. And my goodness, this is the training wheels. And training wheels are off with those books. Because I'm looking at Curse of Strahd and I'm like, man, that's going to be hard to start. So more on that. I'll update you on that as well if you're interested. But yeah, thank you for watching. This has been Noob D&D Dad, DMing for the Army Veterans Group. Killing the bad guy real early. So let me know what you think. And we'll see you on the next one. And watch as I share the rest of this campaign with you and how it went with the big bad guy being dead already. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.